This is a 2024 3LT RS Camaro, and you might recognize this car because we did this car back in December. We tried to get it, came in late October. We tried to get over and get it done before the snow come, and my schedule didn't allow it, so we did a short review on it while it was in the showroom floor. And I want to thank Tom Smith again for allowing us the opportunity to review these cars. And this car is a very impressive car and a pretty rare car for V6. So let's get into it. So taking a quick walk around the vehicle, as I mentioned, some of the options on the car. It's got the black aluminum wheels, and these are not the LI Forge ones, but just a good wheel as well. This has got the tinted taillight option. And full backup sensors, backup camera. I apologize because it is a little dirty. I probably should have cleaned it before we did this, but I just literally had the opportunity to come down and pull this off the lot, so I wanted to do it. Now, one thing with a convertible where it's going to suffer is the trunk space. These have an okay amount of trunk space, but when you get into a convertible, there's not a lot of room. And yeah, this is some of my gear here, but that is, a lot of that trunk space is taken up because of the roof. So, if you're not worried about trunk space, then that's fine. This is probably for, a small family or somebody with no kids and whatnot, or a single person. Obviously the leg room or the rear seat room is going to suffer even more because it's narrower because of the roof. But taking away all those things, this is a very fun car to drive. One of 6 for 2024 based on its packages and being a convertible and whatnot. It's got the black aluminum wheels. These aren't the alloys. Got the tinted taillights. And we'll start at the front and just kind of the overall on. This is again the V6 engine, and if I can get this open here. And I know a lot of you are not, or some of you are not fans of the V6. A lot of guys want the V8s, and I don't blame you. But this is a motor that really shouldn't be ignored if you want it for a weekend car, or daily commuted car, or whatever. If you're in the climate where you can drive a convertible all year round. 335 horsepower V6 direct injected. It's got lots of horsepower. Good quick car. They're trying to move it. I know they've done 2 price drops on it. And for a great car, one thing that affects this is the price. So we'll just review the window sticker here. If I can get this wind to cooperate here a little bit. So sport suspension, obviously convertible. It's got the dual 8-inch screens for the cluster and for the radio. Power seats. It's got the illuminated panels and whatnot. Leather, white and black leather. And then it's got the dual mode performance exhaust system, and the only DIO, which is a dealer installed option, is the stripes. So it's a pretty, there hasn't been a lot of DIOs put on this car. And yes, because we're in Canada, this is a higher price than what you probably used to seeing, but $67,384. Now that is I know it's been reduced, I think twice now, which I can get a update price for you, and I'll update it in the video. But that's probably the one thing that's going to hurt this car from selling, is because it's a V6 and it's not a V8, and that's no shade on the dealer or anybody else. That is just strictly from Chevrolet. But that is what's hurting this car, is that it's too, I believe 67K up here for a convertible is kind of on the high side, right? So, but not to take away from the great car that it is, but just thought I'd point that out. So, but we'll get into some of the interior features in a minute. But you know, we'll revisit this in a minute, but two of the big things with this car is it's got the sport suspension, it's got the dual mode performance exhaust, which will change when you are when you change the drive modes on the car. So this is one thing that I love about this option is the lighted sill plates. These things, you can't really see it during the day, but it's a great option. I love that option. I mentioned this does have the the dual 8-inch cluster, which I just think is more visually appeasing to look at, if I could spit it out, than the smaller square with the analog gauges and whatnot. And then this has got the obviously the newer updated radio system, and it's just a flawless system. It works really well. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You can bring up climate control and everything else instead of having to mess around. It does have some of the smaller buttons, but you can also just leave it up there and then work through the buttons on the steering wheel for your radio and whatnot. Obviously it's got Bluetooth, it's got a heated steering wheel, and it is an automatic, but I kind of like the automatic with the paddle shifters because I'm getting older and I'm lazy. But you know what, everybody loves a good 6-speed car. So let's go for a drive. I don't know how much driving we're going to get in before we gonna put this roof up, but we're gonna start it off in touring mode, and we'll switch it into sports so you guys can hear the difference of the dual mode exhaust. Love coming down to this park. Sometimes it's a little hard to shoot videos down here because it's so busy, but I'll tell you, it is like the place to shoot videos when it's quiet. It's nice and cool. Today it's pretty hot out. It's probably just over 90 degrees. So there's some other events going on in town today, and so it's fairly quiet in comparison to what it normally is. So again, I know a lot of people, a lot of you don't like the V6s. I couldn't afford a V8 when I bought mine, so I bought the 6. I was really happy with it. Did a few things to it. It was pretty impressive, and it doesn't compare to what this car is. So touring mode. I'm just going to stick it in sport mode here in a second. Now this is the paddle shifters. It certainly gets out of the way quick, I'll tell you. I don't mind the paddle shifters. I've shifted enough gears in my life, and yeah, I would probably buy another 6-speed car, but this paddle shifter is it's a good, handy, convenient option to have. So I put the top up for you guys because there was just too much wind noise. I wasn't really happy with the video quality of the with the top down. But one thing I do like about these, I do like about this car, and always liked about this car, is the handling. The handling of this car is phenomenal. And I forgot there's back windows in this. Always liked about these cars is the handle. The handle of this car doesn't matter, V6, 4-cylinder, V8. They all handle well. And this one's no different. I put the top up. There's too much background noise and whatnot. And anyways, going into the corners, you don't have you don't have a lot of, you know, oversteer or understeer. It's a good balance, I find, where you can go into the corners and getting into the corners and feeling confident with, you know, if you're doing a road course or you're just kind of playing around with this thing on the weekends. Good balance for a car. Handles really well. That's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have, make sure you give us a thumbs up, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I apologize for some of the wind noise, but you know, trying to review a convertible and actually giving you the whole experience is a little tough without having some background noise. Anyhow, I will update the pricing from this car from Tom Smith. For any of you that are in Canada that want to come pick this car up, I'm going to offer a CCFBG Camaro Country F-Body Group prize pack that I will leave with this car if you come and get it in July. I know they're trying to move it, so you'll get I have a few of these shirts left. I will leave a shirt, hopefully it fits, leave one of our wristbands and whatnot in a bag with the car. I'll leave it with the sales manager. If you come get this car and you mention this video, we'll give you the prize pack.